Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 1652.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about the AI layoff trend, because lately, AI and job layoffs have been coming up a lot more frequently. And so this article from Fortune.com and Yahoo Finance really caught my eye. And I'd like to give you updates on AI and what's going on in AI so we see where we are on one of the most important trends of our lifetime. Just last week, Snap cited rapid AI advancements as part of its rationale to eliminate some 1,000 jobs, joining companies like Atlassian and Block that have made similar moves. The HR leaders at a recent dinner expressed unease. One said, "The thing that keeps me up at night is this notion of the immediacy of you can just use AI, get efficiencies, and release talent." That was an HR expert from IBM earlier this month in New York. Several other HR leaders shared stories of recent AI-related layoffs, and one said there was no doubt the decision had damaged company culture. Another Fortune 500 leader was even more blunt. "We didn't have a lot of strategic intent when our layoffs were done." And therein lies the problem, not AI itself, but the lack of a coherent talent strategy. At a conference last week, the author, Kristen Stoller, says she spoke with Nikki Armstrong, Chief Administrative and Legal Officer of data storage company Everpure, and Jolyn Anderson, ButterUp's Chief People and Community Officer. Both argued that companies should think less about cuts and instead focus on redeployment. AI can't replace human judgment, Armstrong said, and companies that use it as a cover for massive layoffs are being short-sighted. Anderson advises HR leaders to first determine which tasks can be automated by AI, then think more critically about the skills their employees already have, and how those capabilities can be redeployed toward more uniquely human tasks. For example, she recently delegated candidate interview scheduling to AI and moved the employees who managed that work into what she describes as a candidate experience-focused role. Now they spend their time partnering with hiring managers on more in-depth post-interview feedback and sourcing additional high-quality candidates. "This is not an expense game, it's a value game," Anderson cautioned. "This race to the bottom line is just not sustainable." Top venture capitalist Mark Andreessen says AI layoffs are a farce and companies are 75% overstaffed and AI is the silver bullet excuse to clean house. The billionaire said AI was the scapegoat for layoffs that are actually the result of overhiring in the wake of the COVID pandemic. He said essentially every large company is overstaffed. It's at least overstaffed by 25%. I think most large companies are overstaffed by 50%. I think a lot of them are overstaffed by 75%. He added, "Now they all have the silver bullet excuse. It's AI." Andreessen's comments are nothing new in an industry that is pushing back against the silver bullet excuse of AI, which some tech leaders, including OpenAI's Sam Altman, have coined as AI washing, or blaming otherwise normal layoffs on the increased use of AI. A long list of business leaders and AI experts have said the labor market is due for a massive upheaval owing to AI. Some have already carried out layoffs and attributed them to the tech. Block CEO Jack Dorsey laid off 40% of his workforce in February, saying he thinks most companies are late to the AI layoff trend. Australian-American firm Atlassian made a similar move. Meta is also reportedly planning sweeping layoffs thanks to greater efficiency brought about by AI-assisted workers. Tech companies embarked on a hiring spree in the wake of the COVID pandemic. Following the initial employment shock during the onset of the pandemic, hiring shot up to 8.3 million by May 2020, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The dawn of remote work and the shift to digital opened up a pool of labor that spanned the globe. By June 2022, non-farm payrolls surpassed pre-pandemic levels. Firms acted like the metaphysical kid in a candy store with talent, grabbing every shiny new candidate that crossed their applicant tracking system, with some like Amazon even doubling their headcount between 2019 and 2021. But many tech firms have cleaned house following the hiring craze. Amazon has cut nearly 30,000 workers over the past year to reduce layers and remove bureaucracy. In 2023, Google parent company Alphabet cut 12,000 jobs after a pandemic hiring spree. Even Dorsey conceded that some of the block cuts were thanks to overhiring. This entire labor displacement thing is 100% incorrect, Andreessen said. It's classic zero-sum economics. He said that most coders, for example, are employing AI, which is taking over much of the workload. But that's not a flashing red light that layoffs are on the way. Instead, it just means more work for those workers as AI boosts productivity rather than cutting labor costs. The venture capitalist argues that fears of AI-driven mass layoffs stem from the lump of labor fallacy, the belief that there is a fixed amount of work in the economy at any given time. It's always been wrong, it's going to be wrong again, he said. But recent studies on the impact of AI complicate Andreessen's assessment. An Anthropic study released earlier this month demonstrated that AI is already theoretically capable of performing the majority of tasks associated with engineering, law, finance, and business. And a study from professional services firm Cognizant mapped out the projected magnitude of AI layoffs this year, finding AI-related job cuts could total more than 9 times what they were last year, surpassing 500,000. But that number is still a far cry from the sweeping projections leaders like Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei have made about an AI-related white-collar job apocalypse. Still, Andreessen thinks AI is a smokescreen for layoffs. He doesn't believe the technology is sophisticated enough yet to replace human workers. AI literally, until December, was not good enough to do any of the jobs they're actually cutting, he said. It just can't have been AI. So I think that is giving us a good view of where AI is right now. Maybe some companies are saying that they're laying off people due to AI, but that may be an over-exaggeration, as it kind of gives them kudos for putting AI to work. And many companies may think that kind of narrative can give their stock price a boost. So they'd rather talk about any layoffs being attributed to AI than for any other reason. But it doesn't sound like it's the realistic reason. And we'll have to keep following this trend to see when we truly get to that level where AI is replacing human workers. If you haven't yet subscribed to Be Wealthy and Smart, hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified as soon as new podcasts are available. And all of my podcasts are on my website at lindapjones.com/podcasts. And while you're there, sign up for my weekly newsletter for more wealth tips for your financial freedom. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.